Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into a topic a lot of you have asked about, and that's the massive shift happening in the Amazon Kindle direct publishing landscape. For years, KDP was kind of synonymous with passive income, but that whole business model has fundamentally changed. We're tracking its pivot away from mass production and, well, towards this laser-focused quality, leveraging social media for a scale that was honestly was impossible before. And for those just getting their feet wet, KDP is incredibly appealing, especially for beginners. You're dealing with a digital product, which makes the whole operational side of things much, much lighter than if you were, say, stocking physical goods. You get higher profit margins, and maybe most importantly, you're on Amazon. So you have built-in traffic, plus they handle the logistics, nightmare shipping, fulfillment, customer service, the whole 9 yards. It's a really compelling place to start an online business.
It is a great starting point, but we need to set the expectation right out of the gate. For you, the listener, this isn't financial advice. And results are, of course, never guaranteed. We're simply analyzing trends and, some real-world examples that show what's possible. But let's be crystal clear. The examples we're going to talk about, the successful authors, they treat this like a real business. It takes consistent effort, time, diligence. This is not some magic get-rich-quick scheme.
I think that last point, treating it like a real business, is the whole thesis of this deep dive, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sources show the core pivot is abandoning that scheme mentality completely. The new way is quality over volume.
That is the foundational change. The old approach, the volume game, was simple but deeply flawed. The logic was something like, if one book makes me $10 a month, I just need 1,000 books to hit 10,000 a month.
So simple math.
Simple math, yeah. And it led to authors just churning out low-quality books at an astonishing rate. I mean, sometimes dozens a week.
And what was the consequence of that? I mean, that deluge of just low-quality stuff.
Amazon's platform started to seize up. They couldn't police the sheer number of submissions, and the customer experience, well, it suffered dramatically.
Right.
So the result was Amazon had to implement much stricter submission rules, new content checks, and it just made it harder for everyone.
Which brings us to the new way.
Precisely. The new strategy just flips that equation on its head. Why try to manage 1,000 mediocre books when one extraordinary book can make that $10,000 or, frankly, a lot more every single month? We're looking for that home run book, the one that really gains massive traction. The core insight now is that quality, when you market it correctly, it scales exponentially faster than volume ever could.
I see the logic there, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because this shift doesn't just help the author. It aligns perfectly with Amazon's own priorities. Amazon's primary goal is customer satisfaction, right? So if you are focused on creating a genuinely high-quality product, you basically become a partner in their mission. Amazon is far more likely to reward that behavior to push your book higher in their search results.
It creates a symbiotic relationship. You deliver value, and Amazon rewards the delivery of that value.
Okay, so if quality is the new volume, let's talk about how to actually do that, starting with step one, topic research. We know finding proven demand is non-negotiable. The #1 beginner mistake is, and always has been, creating a book on a topic you hope people want. Zero market research, an absolute waste of time.
That existing market demand is still the baseline, absolutely. But the first key change in the research strategy is adding a layer of personal alignment. You need to find a topic that is both profitable and that you, the author, are passionate about, or at least deeply interested in learning about.
Why is passion suddenly a business necessity?
It's all about execution in today's marketing world. Social media is now the engine of scale. And it's exponentially easier to consistently show up on camera, talk about a topic, create engaging content if you genuinely know or care about it.
That makes sense.
We see authors succeeding because they show up almost every day. They're discussing the theme of their book, they're showing the book, and they're telling people exactly where to buy it on Amazon or on TikTok Shop. If you hate the topic, that daily grind becomes completely unsustainable.
I'm with you on the sustainability.
Yeah.
But what about the listener who prefers a more anonymous approach, maybe a children's book brand, or a topic that doesn't really require a face? Does that passion rule still apply?
It's not mandatory, no, but the shift definitely favors it. The old profitable-only approach, it still works. Plenty of big publishers use it. But the path to massive viral scaling, that's paved with personal connection, with authenticity, which is just much easier if the author is fronting the brand.
Okay, that brings us to the second, and this one feels highly counterintuitive, shift in topic research. Low competition niches are now less important. Historically, all the KDP advice was about finding that tiny, underserved corner of the market.
Exactly. The old mindset was avoid competition at all costs, which, often meant niching down until you had zero competition, but you also had zero profitable demand.
The graveyard niche.
The graveyard niche, yeah. The new rule is to prefer high competition, high demand topics over those low demand niches.
Wait, okay, so if we're prioritizing high competition, doesn't that just mean authors need a much bigger ad budget to even show up on Amazon now?
Not necessarily. See, that's the old volume game thinking. We're thinking social scale now. Embracing high demand maximizes your potential to go viral. A high demand topic means millions of people are interested, which gives your videos a chance to hit millions of views. And that translates to exploding sales. If the niche is too small, your viral ceiling is tiny, no matter how good your content is.
That makes perfect sense. The high demand is the fuel for the viral engine.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of what this looks like in practice?
Yeah, we have some great concrete examples. Take the anxious attachment workbook. This is a massive, highly trending niche in self-help right now. The author is using social media, and that one book is consistently pulling in thousands of dollars a month just from organic traffic and a few semi-viral videos.
And the really mass market topics, I'm guessing they scale even faster.
Oh, absolutely. Look at language learning. We tracked an author publishing books on learning Spanish who just gained massive traction online. One single book was making $2,000 a day. Another one was doing $300 a day.
Wow.
You just can't get that level of consistent exponential growth in a tiny niche about, 18th century Danish poetry. Scale requires a very large pool of interested buyers. So once you've selected that high demand topic, that sets the stage for step 2, book creation. And the main goal here is the same. You have to create a truly great book, something that actually satisfies the demand you found.
And thanks to AI, the actual production process is now easier, it's faster, and it's significantly cheaper, provided you use the tech intelligently. Historically, if you wanted a high-content book, with actual text and images, not just a blank journal, you needed expensive human ghostwriters.
Right, and now we see this fascinating shift. Ghostwriting companies are still using human writers, but those writers are now actively allowed to use sophisticated AI writing software. They use it as a powerful tool for outlining, for drafting, for research.
So it's not the AI writing the book on its own. It's more like the human writer is using AI as a super efficient assistant.
Precisely. That blend of human oversight and AI assistance, it dramatically cuts down on the hours needed for a first draft. And that's led to about half the cost for ghostwriting compared to just a couple of years ago. It's really democratized the creation of high-quality content.
And what specific book formats are really thriving in this new quality-first world?
Simple, high-content books or guided journals. And when I say guided journals, I mean books that provide real, thoughtful structure prompts, reflective questions, spaces to write. The quality of the prompts is the key differentiator. And these are now pretty easy to outsource or create yourself with tutorials. You can find freelancers on platforms like Fiverr who will literally create the entire package for you. The cover, the interior, the optimized description.
That's incredible.
And this rise in high-quality production brings up a strategic question we should touch on.
Wow.
Pen names versus real names. I used to say it really didn't matter. Use whatever you want. But now I highly recommend using a real name or a dedicated, consistent brand name.
I'm guessing this ties right back into the social media piece we were just talking about.
It does, 100%. If you plan to leverage social media and show up on camera to talk about your book using a pen name, especially one that creates a disconnect, like a male author using a female pen name, it can just feel, kind of weird. It can break that authenticity and trust with the audience. Using your real identity or a consistent brand name just makes the whole thing much smoother.
That's a key strategic risk to avoid right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move from creation to visibility. Step 3, uploading to KDP. That's pretty standard. But the launch, step 4, has had a huge transformation because of an algorithm update.
Yeah, historically, authors were obsessed with the 30-day honeymoon period. The theory was that if you failed to get a proper launch, meaning, a bunch of sales and reviews in that first month, your book was basically doomed. Doomed. It would fall to page 10 or 20, and you might as well just start over on a new book.
So what does this algorithm change actually mean for an author today?
It means that doomed mindset is totally defunct. Amazon updated their algorithm, largely to combat all that junk content, and it means they now reward long-term value. The source material shows that even if your initial launch completely fails, the book can re-rank. It can recover. A book can climb back from page 20 to page 1, provided it's high quality and it's in a high-demand topic. The algorithm is now designed to give good books a second, third, even a fourth chance.
That's a huge relief for new authors.
Yeah.
It shifts the pressure from this one frantic launch event to more of a long-term marketing strategy.
Absolutely. Ongoing, consistent marketing is now way more valuable than a huge one-off 30-day push. Getting reviews is also easier now, thanks to sites like Book Bounty, which are basically exchange platforms connecting authors with early readers.
And what's the recommended marketing flow now? What's the sequence?
You start with Amazon ads. The reason why is to confirm conversion. You need proof that when people see your book, they actually buy it. Once you've validated that, then you scale with social media marketing. Short, consistent videos talking about the book to tap into that massive organic traffic. And that leads us to the most defining part of this new KDP model, scaling. So at this point, you have one high-quality book, you're marketing it, it's making decent money, say $500 to $1,000 a month.
Okay.
The old strategy would be immediately start the next book, repeat the process. The new strategy is to scale that single successful book as aggressively as you can.
What's fascinating here is how that scale is achieved without the author having to do all the work themselves.
The single fastest way to scale a physical book right now is using the native e-commerce and affiliate features on TikTok, what they call TikTok Shop. We're seeing this pattern where most of the top-performing physical books on Amazon are getting a massive, sustained push from creators selling them on TikTok Shop.
Can you just break down how that affiliate system works for an author?
Sure. The author lists their book on TikTok Shop, and then they recruit other people, affiliates, to sell it. These affiliates are already established content creators. They post videos for the brand showcasing the book. So essentially, the author gets this huge army of people creating content for you without having to create it all themselves or even having to go viral personally. You leverage their audience, they earn a commission. It's brilliant.
We need to slow down and look at the revenue numbers here, because they really illustrate the sheer magnitude of this shift. Let's start with the Inner Work brand.
Okay, so in a 90-day period, the Inner Work generated over $90,000 in revenue. Of that, $74,000, that's over 80%, came directly from affiliates, from other people doing the selling.
The ratio gets even more staggering. The Anxious Attachment Workbook we mentioned. Over $288,000 in revenue in 90 days. And almost all of it, a stunning 99%, came from affiliates.
Yes. We even saw data showing one single affiliate was responsible for $54,000 in sales for that brand.
Yeah.
One person.
That's insane.
And it's not isolated. Those language learning books. $900,000 in revenue in 90 days. $894,000 of that, so 99.3%, came from affiliates. A guided journal, questions about me, $545,000 in revenue, most of it from affiliates.
Just think about that. 99% of the work done by people you don't even have to manage directly. That completely changes the definition of labor and scale. I mean, before this, hitting $100,000 a month from one KDP book was... It was an insane outlier. Now, because of this viral leverage, it's becoming more and more common.
It completely revolutionizes the economics, the whole model. It requires fewer books, it makes the business so much simpler, and it offers a dramatically higher upside. Plus, you're getting basically free marketing on social media, which lets you build a real valuable brand, an actual asset. The source notes one author successfully sold their KDP account for $820,000. Building out a TikTok Shop affiliate team only increases that valuation.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it just confirms that social selling is absolutely dominating everything right now.
It is. And for anyone listening who might be worried about, platform stability, talk of TikTok being banned or whatever, the strategy itself is platform agnostic. The audience won't disappear. They'll just move to the next best short-form video platform, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, the scaling opportunity through creators that will remain. So to just recap the strategy for everyone listening, the fastest, most linear path to success now is to publish one, maybe a few practice books, to find that home run. Once you find the winner, you aggressively scale that one single book. Use Amazon ads to confirm it converts, and then unleash the vast reach of social media and influencer sales through platforms like TikTok Shop.
It sounds like a much cleaner, more cost-effective model. But the biggest hurdles are still right there at the beginning. Identifying a truly profitable topic you can commit to, and knowing how to execute on quality. A killer cover, a strong title, genuinely useful content. That takes skill. It takes some initial investment.
It does. The skill set has changed. It's less about writing fast and more about strategic positioning, about brand building. And this raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about. If the new path to scaling relies so heavily on leveraging other creators through platforms like TikTok Shop, how does the role of the independent KDP author fundamentally change? Are you primarily a publisher now? Or are you evolving into something more like a talent manager and a brand marketer instead? That strategic question, I think, will define your success in this new landscape.